All right, we're heading back to Capitol. It's the last day of the month, so last play for the 1-3 challenge. I heard some news that Los Angeles has just shut down all poker rooms there because of the virus. I'm sure we're not far behind. All right, we're back at Capitol, getting into that 1-3 game for 300. Just a new game, so we'll see how it goes. Hang on for the ride. All right, first hand we play, we get King Queen on the button. It's folded to us. We raise to 15 and only the big blind calls. He's a new player who plays fairly loose. Flop comes Queen high, so when he checks to me, I'm going to continue my range for $13. He looks at his cards and he looks like he wants to fold, but then he kind of makes some strange move and he decides to call. I look at this as a weakness. He is a very aggressive player and he likes to bluff, especially early in his session. So the turn card comes as a 9 of clubs, and now he just leads out for 35. I don't believe him at all. I'm pretty sure I still have the best hand. I'm thinking that maybe he picked up a flush draw or a straight draw. So I go ahead and make the call, and we're off to the river. And the river card is not a good one. It's a jack of diamonds. And he just insta-shoves. I played with this player quite a bit. I figured this is something that he would do with just about anything. And I don't have any blockers to the flush, but I really think he's out of line. I've seen him get out of line a lot, especially early in the round. So I make a very loose call, and he says I'm good. All right, this next hand we pick up 8-9 suited and limp. It ends up being a 5-way limp pot. So we go to the flop. And the flop is 5-8 jack. So it gets checked over to me, a second pair. I just check it to see what the person behind me is going to do. And they end up checking also. When the turn card comes as a 3 of spades, I figure I have the best hand here. So I'm going to make a pot-sized bet here. And only the player from the previous hand comes and calls. He has a very, very wide range. So it's hard to put him on anything. He is prone to bluffing when he has the opportunity. So if I don't improve, I'll probably just check it to him and see if he'll take a stab at it. River card comes as a ace. Definitely a scare card, definitely something that he might want to take a stab with, but he checks it right back. And I roll over my 8s and they're good. This following hand, I got a late start on filming it. I got Queen 6 offsuit in the big blind. I get to see a free flop. Flop comes Jack, King, Ace. I check it and it gets checked around. Turn card comes as a 10, makes me the straight. I check again, hoping that the loose aggressive player will go ahead and take a stab, which he does. So here I just call, trying to get the player in behind me to come along too. And he puts in a little raise here. He makes it 30. The loose aggressive player insta calls for 20 more. And here I thought about going ahead and raising it up. If I had the Queen of Hearts, I might. But he could be on a free roll right here, so I decided just to call. The turn card comes as a heart, so it puts a possible flush. As I said, he could have been on the free roll, but he checks behind me. He's pretty scared that I might have been on the flush draw. So anyway, we show over our cards, and he's a fan of the vlog, so he really wanted to get on the vlog, so he made it. It's an interesting hand. I limp in under the gun for $3. Player next to me calls. It goes around to a player on the far end of the table who makes it 30. The big blind to my right calls, and I go ahead and call also with the 7s. The two players have both been playing very fast, very aggressive, and they could be raising pretty late here. So anyway, three-way action, we're off to see a flop. And the flop comes 10, deuce, 5 with 2 hearts. The first player checks, I check it, and now the player who is the initial raiser, he goes ahead and he bets 60. The player in the big blind folds quickly, and here I think I'm still good. I think he's more likely to have 2 overs than anything else. So I go ahead and make the call to evaluate on the turn. Turn card comes as a real big scare card. It's a 10. So here I can represent a 10 and I can deny equity from all his overs. So I go ahead and bet 100 and he quickly folds. All right, shortly after that last hand, I pick up a pair of 8s. The person to my right raises to 18. I call, the player to my left calls, and 2 people at the far end of the table also call. So we go 5 ways to the flop. And the flop is King, Queen, 3 with 2 hearts. So I miss completely. The person who was in the big blind now leads out for 65. And the initial raiser to my right makes a quick call of the 65. I have nothing, so I throw it away. Player to my left misses also, and the small blind also releases. And it's heads up between the 2 very active players. I can feel a big pot brewing, so I keep the camera rolling. Get a better angle. Turn card comes as a 6 of diamonds, which shouldn't change much here. The person in the big blind now leads for 150. You're trying to figure out what kind of hand this could be. Someone calling for 18 out of the big blind. You think maybe a king, or pocket 3s, maybe a king, queen. The initial raiser makes the call. You put them on a hand like a king, possibly a flush draw. Maybe ace, queen of hearts, ace, jack of hearts. Anyway, the river card comes as a 6 of spades. And now the person in the big blind just goes ahead and shoves for 255 into a $505 pot. And the person to my right calls quickly. The big blind shows over king 7 offsuit, and the initial raiser shows king 10 offsuit for a chop pot. All right, I was in the small blind with queen 3. I put out $2 to see a flop. Flop comes 5, ace 4 with 2 clubs, so I flop the second nut flush draw and a gut shot. I lead out for 10, just trying to build a little pot here. I get 4 callers. Turn card comes as a 5. Being in the small blind, I can represent a lot of things here, so I'm just going to try to build a pot a little bit at a time. Hopefully I'll hit one of my draws. I don't want to pay too much for it. I end up getting 3 callers. The river card comes as a pretty good card. It's 10 of clubs, so I got the second nut flush on a paired board. I size up just a little bit for 30, trying to get a crying call out of an ace. Person to my left thinks for a while, and then finally puts in the call. Right now I think I'm pretty good here. I figure they probably have an ace and are just paying me off. So I roll over my queen high flush and they show me a king high flush. All right, this is the first big hand I picked up all day long. I open for a raise to 15 and I get 3 callers, so we go 4-way to the flop. The flop is ace, 8, ace with 2 hearts. So the initial opener goes ahead and leads at me for $20. He's that loose player that I was telling you about earlier. I go ahead and make the call and everybody else folds. At this point I'm putting him on a possible small ace or a flush draw, or some sort of pair, like maybe a pair of eights. The turn card comes is a 5, and he checks to me. I decided to size small just to keep all his hands in, because he's playing a lot of hands at this point. And I was planning on betting a little bit bigger on the river, but he makes a strange gesture and then checks. I was surprised, so I just rolled over. I probably still should have went for value there. All right, I'm in the cutoff with Queen 9 of spades. It gets limp to me, so I go ahead and limp. There was a fan of the vlog who was very interested in this hand, and he asked me what I had. So I told him he had to watch the vlog to find out. So if you're watching, here it is. We go to a flop of Queen 10 4. It gets checked around to me. It's a pretty safe board. I make a standard bet of $12 and everybody folds. I was pretty card dead most of the day, but I still managed to book a little win. I was in for 300, out for 450 for a $150 win. Total's coming up. As promised, here are the results of the $500 day 1-3 challenge for the month of November. This is a very small sample size, so the numbers are skewed, but I think the results are fairly accurate of the games at Capital Casino and Thunder Valley. I hope you're enjoying the new graphics for the vlog. I got myself a new computer and we're doing it with Final Cut Pro. And a special thanks for Chuck over at Happy Face Hold'em. He really went above and beyond to give me some help in learning the software. It's a steep learning curve, and he took time out of his busy day to help me. So Chuck, I really appreciate your help. This video is as good as it is because of you. Thank you. And if you haven't checked out his channel, go over to Happy Face Hold'em and sub and like. I think you'll enjoy his channel. On a serious note, the casinos in Los Angeles are now temporarily closed because of the virus. I also heard that the Bay Area is shutting down also. I think Sacramento County is not that far behind, so it'll be interesting to see how this all develops. We do have Thunder Valley Casino, which is an Indian reservation, so they don't have to abide by some of the rules. But if it gets as serious as it might, I think they might have to end up shutting down also. So keep your fingers crossed. If the casinos stay open, I'll bring you vlogs. If they close, I'm going to take some time off. Hope everybody is safe. Take care.